What's happening, guys? Happy Thursday, and welcome to the Dynasty WarZone, the People's Dynasty podcast. On this week's show, we're back at it. We are going to break down every game. We're going to give you one Dynasty nugget from each and every game. And speaking of nuggets, let me introduce my co-host, but you know him better as the man of the hour and the man with the power, Jerry Sinclair. Buddy, what's going on?
I am just peachy, my friend. The absolute worst chicken nugget that has ever existed. Yours truly made
Well,
Randy
I didn't say chicken.
Late.
I didn't say chicken. I said it could be a gold nugget.
Okay, stop.
Could be a poop nugget.
Stop. It could be a poop nugget.
I mean,
I'm
I
closer
understand.
to a poop nugget than a gold nugget.
I think you're actually close. I think you were right the first time. I think you're closer to a chicken nugget. How's the fantasy football season treating you? I mean, we're week 10. We're a month away from if you're in a respectable, upholding, league about town, your playoffs start here week 15. So we're 4 weeks away-ish. And we got Thursday night football here in about an hour. How's your season going?
Not terrible for the most part. I think I had one league that I expected to be bad, that I'm like 6-4, which I don't really think I'm going to, shock the world in that league, but it's going better than I expected. I also have one league. I took over an orphan in a Patreon league. Best orphan that I've ever seen in my life. And it is, I think I'm 6-4 in that, but I have Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Like, it's an unbelievable orphan. I don't know why they gave it up, but that one's been a little disappointing for the most part. A lot of 7-3s, a lot of 6-4s, and then a lot of 3-7s, which is sort of exactly what I've been trying to do. Been trading a bunch the last 2 weeks, all of those sort of bad teams, just trying to get some picks and accumulate and do my due diligence, because now is the time to do it when the standings are pretty solidified and who's going to be good and who's going to be bad, so you know what people are going to want and what they're going to need to help either get the win or to get some draft capital. So now is the time to do it. So that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, I was firing out some trades earlier today. I've got one undefeated team, the OG.
I got 0. So good on you.
I have no winless teams. I have one undefeated team, and that's Patron 1. That's the OG. That's my baby. That team continues to rock. And a little bit of everything in between. I would say if you accumulative across my 20 plus league, that I'm in, I'm probably like everybody else, a lot of 5-5, 6-4, 4-6, just trying to get players healthy and get back on track as we, navigate the playoffs. And for those of you that do not play in good Christian or whatever the religion is in the area near you leagues, if you don't play in those kind of leagues and your league has a trade deadline, Jerry and I are going to do you a solid. Next week, we're going to do what we'll call a trade deadline show. Every year, I've always done week 12, and that was really based off of the old school NFL 16-game season. I like to do it the week before Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's traditionally trade deadline week. That's the week that if you have a trade deadline, I like it. We'll talk all things trade. Next Thursday, players were trading away, players were trading for, and some trade tips, some trade tactics, and everything in between. But maybe you do have a team that's winless. Maybe you do. Maybe you only have one dynasty team, and we can correct that next year with the Patron League. That's a different conversation for a different day. But maybe you're 1-9, 2-8, and you're just like, you're disenfranchised with football and fantasy football. That is not the case if you jump in a little fast draft.
Pour one out for an incredible best ball season. It was a breakout 2025 for fast draft, but now the NFL action has started. That means it's DFS season. That's right. You might think, oh, wow, DFS, I can't win DFS. Oh, but you can on fast draft. You just pick any 6 guys and you put them in a handful of booster spots. There's no salary rubric you have to follow. You're not going up against thousands of killer bots in these tournaments. Oh, no. These are regular people grabbing their 6 favorite plays of the week, and that's all you have to do. And we post the ownership so that you can choose how much chalk you want There is no drafting. It's called the Quick Six Super Slam. The Quick Six Super Slam is the signature DFS contest at Fast Draft. It is changing DFS. We are making DFS great again. So go to fastdraft.app and use your host promo code for a $50 deposit match. And let's go start drafting faster.
I say it every week, and I will be drafting my ass off. And see, it's not really drafting. You're just picking your lineup. So I cheat. I live in Indiana, but anytime I go to Ohio to get my kid, I have anywhere from 10 to 12 rosters just already ready to plug in, because I can look at it in a state like that's crappy like Indiana, and I can get like who I want lined up. I write them down, and while I'm waiting on my son to get his shit together, which has nothing to do with picking him up, I plug all those in. Jerry, I'm an addict. I love Fast Draft, and when it becomes legal in Indiana, which I'm hoping will be in the next 12 months, it'll be a lot of fun.
True.
And the promo code WarZone, dollar for dollar match up to $50. And Jerry, Iowa is also as antiquated as Indy. Maybe it's just states that start with I.
Maybe, but also, not going to be in Iowa for much longer. So hopefully Michigan gets it. Michigan
got it, baby. Michigan.
Did they? Perfect.
Yes.
Well, then
I can go get legal weed and play Fast Draft in every state that surround this.
Well, then 1 month from tomorrow, I will be drafting my ass off, buddy.
Well, we'll talk about login codes and things like that later. Anyway, check out Fast Draft. I promote it so much because I do truly love it. It is a hoot to play. But, Jerry, I don't have a good people, bad tweets for you.
That's a good thing, though.
It is. Jacob last week got his apology. He gave me the thumbs up. So Jacob and us, we're square. We're back to level with Mr. Jacob. So shout out there. But have you ever heard of the famous financier, investor extraordinaire Warren Buffett?
Yeah.
Berkshire Hathaway, 95 years old. If he's not the greatest financial guy of all time, he's clearly on the Mount Rushmore of financial advice. And he recently delivered his final letter to the investors, shareholders, whatever you want to call them, of Berkshire Hathaway. Not bad. Glad to know that the guy's finally hanging it up at 95 years old. Workaholic. But you know what? They say if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. But he's always had a bunch of just like very sage pieces of advice. And we've used a lot of them in Dynasty over the years. But and people have been posting them this week, and they came across my Twitter feed, so it does tie back to good people, bad tweets. And one of them is, it's like, when they're scared, be aggressive, and when they're aggressive, be scared. And I thought, and I read that one, and it just hit me right in the old heart. I was like, isn't that something? All off season, everybody was super aggressive on Bill, Ja'Cory, Krosky, Merritt. And I was scared. I was scared. All off season, people were scared of Jackson Dart. And we were aggressive. And I think that's something that you can use in life. And I think it's just something that you can use in Dynasty, because that's where the value is always going to be. And Jerry, what do we chase? What are the two V's that we chase? Now, be careful. There's a bad word you could say in there, but what are the two V's that we chase at the Dynasty WarZone?
The most important one is volume. And the second one that we chase specifically in the offseason is value.
100%. And that's the whole point of like shows like this. We'll talk about it in trades next week. So just take that as general Dynasty fantasy. And if you want to use it as life advice, I am not a certified life coach. I am not Tim Robbins, and neither is Jerry. But
no,
I would just always say, and this is a word we've used for a long time on the show, trepidatious. I would say anything that the general public is very bullish on and super excited for, you need to be a little bit trepidatious. Unless it's those pictures of Sydney Sweeney that have been floating around over the interwebs the last I'm fine. If you follow that direction, co-sign from Uncle Memphis. But, Jerry, let's get into these games. We got a lot of them to break down. These shows tend to run long. But let's give these good people a Dynasty nugget. And speaking of nuggets, I gave you a real nugget of a game. That's all right. I have the the NFL bookended us with really shitty games. Ironically, I think they were both 10-7 as I sit here and think about it.
Yeah.
You have the Broncos and Raiders. I'll have the Packers and Eagles. Couple of shitty games. Hopefully this Thursday night's game is a lot better with the Jets and the Patriots here in just about an hour. But what was your takeaway from the Broncos and the Raiders game?
It is going forward. So J.K. Dobbins got a little banged up. IR is a possibility. So Jerry, look at that. Jerry actually did some notes today. He actually did some work for Randall. Now I was late, so I evened it out. You know, I can't just always please him. I have to be the disappointing nephew.
You're getting half a gold star for this.
Yeah.
One half.
What did I write down for the Raiders versus Broncos? Let's see if RJ Harvey deserved that first round rookie pick price tag because, ladies and gentlemen, his opportunity is now. I was trepidatious because I thought J.K. Dobbins was good and I thought he would get the first crack, and that was correct. And Randy's talked about how I was right on Quinshon Judkins, but here's the thing. That story has not been written yet. Because now RJ Harvey gets the opportunity. Now RJ Harvey can absolutely steal the show. Now, J.K. Dobbins gets hurt. There's a fucking shocker that we've never heard before. Here's his opportunity. Because I'm not actually going to talk about this game, Randy, because that was mud butt. There was a whole bunch of nothing going on. I could talk about how Ashton Genty gets the volume, but he's not a great value because you're not seeing tons of production, and Bo Nix is fine and Cortland Sutton's fine. RJ Harvey is the nugget. And it's not about this week. It's about going forward. Because if this man takes this job, you have a successful first round pick. If we see crap the next couple of weeks, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, you wasted your first round pick. It happens. You just go into the valley of wrong. It been there, done that, bringing that back from last week. That's all. It's RJ Harvey's time.
People did not like proclaiming that I live in the mountain, on the mountain of right, and you live in the valley of wrong. But I agree. And I heard it said earlier this week on a non-fantasy but yet a football related show that if J.K. Dobbins could just stay healthy, he would currently be a top 5 back talent-wise in the league. That he and everybody who scouted him as a really talented football player coming out of Ohio State, largely correct. It's some guys just have that bugaboo of injury about them. They can't shake it. And with J.K., it's never been the same thing, but it's always something. And you're right. But as a Harvey fan, I'm excited to see him get a little bit more rushing opportunity. And I still have a chance to win that because the Judkins injury, Judkins on the season, remember, this was the most viewed YouTube short, the short form video. I think it's like 2 minutes or less. I had Harvey, you had Judkins. Harvey currently on the season, RB23. Judkins on the season, currently RB21. It is going to, and there's an 8-point difference. It's going to be a dogfight to see which one of us was right and which one of us was wrong about that. I won't call it an argument, but a debate. So that's good. I'm glad that it's not a runaway. And I was surprised this game wasn't a runaway. It actually gave me like heart palpitations. I have the Colts and the Falcons. And from a non-dynasty nugget standpoint, if Daniel Jones is not playing on turf, he does not look like the same guy. It's not New York. It's not New York Daniel Jones versus Indianapolis Daniel Jones. It's truly turf versus grass because that was only their third road game. Or I guess, well, they did play the Titans on grass. He didn't have a very good statistical game that day, but the one road game that he did look really good on was in SoFi Stadium. Oh, and the other road game that he looked really good in was the one in SoFi Stadium. Ironically, played both the Chargers and the Rams this year. I think it's really a grass, and I think maybe the offensive line doesn't hurt old JT though.
No.
He's setting the world on fire. But my nugget from this game is Alec Pierce. Go get Alec Pierce. He is a pending free agent, and he is not a flash in the pan, and I'm not taking a cheap shot at Jerry, but Jerry has been a big proponent of DK Metcalf over the history of this show since DK's been in the league.
Well,
And
I
Alec
got
Pierce
some things to say about him later.
and Alec Pierce is looking like, I don't want to say like physically like prime DK Metcalf, but dude, he's playing like prime DK Metcalf. He's been in the league 4 years. He's on pace for 2 years in a row to lead the league in average yards per reception. That's not a fluke. He did it last year with a combination of Joe Flacco and Anthony Richardson. Now he's doing it with Daniel Jones. He's done it with multiple quarterbacks, multiple styles of quarterbacks. And unlike I don't like to say the hard S, but like the stupid people that just think that teams like the New England Patriots are going to go out and trade picks for a guy like A.J. Brown, who's a malcontent and a pain in the ass and comes at a heavy price tag. Why wouldn't you just go get Alec Pierce in free agency? You give up 0 picks. You get to control the contract. You get to control what he does. Like, he would be perfect for like a Drake May and that offense, or any team getting a rookie. Is he what you would consider a traditional wide receiver 1? No. But if I can go out right now as a contender, if I can give you my contender second, and if I got to add a future third to go get Alec Pierce, he's going to help you down the stretch. He's a little injury insulation. And Jerry, what happens? And again, no, I know top of my head, New England is the prime A1 spot for a free agent or a rookie wide receiver. What happens to Alec Pierce come mid-March if he's a Patriot on like a 4-year, $120 million deal?
I mean, if he gets that much money, then holy shit.
Well, I guess it'd be like more like 4 for 80, but like they're saying he's a $20 million a year minimum wide receiver, and people are going to be like, "Oh, better go get Alec Pierce." Yeah, too late, dum-dum. Get him now. Not only can he help you now, but he can accrue value. And that's one thing I've again, going back to Warren Buffett, I like to be ahead of the curve. You don't make money in investing by waiting until everybody else figures it out. Let's get ahead of this. And he's starting to see his targets increase. I would dare say, outside of Tyler Warren, he's the number 1 target on this team. It seems like he's surpassed Pittman. It seems like he's surpassed Downs. He's already a big catch guy, and now he's adding volume. Yes, please. I love Alec Pierce. Jerry, what are your thoughts on Alec Pierce? And then you can go ahead and go to the Browns and Jets.
I mean, I like Alec Pierce. I took a ton of shots, but the next time you besmirch Michael Pittman's name and say he's not the one, that's going to just piss me off. Also, let me just tell you, as a person that went against Jonathan Taylor in a week that I scored the second most points in my league this year, and I already knew I lost because I went against Jonathan Taylor, goodness, that dude is an animal. And to anybody that thought that dude was falling off, that's wild. Which game you want me to do? You want to do Jets Browns? That's another.
I just went in the order they were on NFL.com when I started. Yeah, Jets Browns.
Okay.
You know what the color of poop is?
Yeah, it's brown.
I mean, healthy brown. Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, you could jet some brown out, and that'll be pretty much what both of these teams are. This is what I will say. This is a tiny little baby nugget that is not going to be made into a short at all, and it will absolutely not, get the dial going. But Dylan Gabriel, he got 7 touchdowns. He's got 2 interceptions. If you're a contender, you could do worse to have a QB3. Now, you don't know exactly what is going to happen. He's cheap. Nobody cares about him. You could do worse. Like, would you rather have Bryce Young or Dylan Gabriel, Randy?
I would rather have you than Dylan Gabriel. that guy this time next year, he is a backup if he's lucky.
100%. I'm not going to disagree with that. I'm just saying, as a contender, if Lamar Jackson's been banged up, he missed some practice. I think he came back today, but we're talking about a QB3 that's cheap and he's young. Maybe he gets another opportunity down the road. The other thing, Quinshon Judkins and Breece Hall, both awesome. They are good for no matter the situation you are in. If you are a contender, you are absolutely plugging them in and they can help you win a championship. If you are a rebuilder, you are happy because they're young and they are awesome.
I'm looking at our friend Jamie Parag. Great guy. Find him on Twitter X at Jamie Parag. He hosts his own fantasy football podcast. He says he's going to the Cleveland Browns versus Titans game. Jamie, I worry about you. You hate yourself. You are into self-pain. And if you need a word, my DMs are always open. Nah, dude. I mean, I understand I gave you a hot one by giving you this absolutely terrible game. I want nothing to do with the only Cleveland Brown. I take that back. There are two. The only Cleveland Browns that I have any interest in. Number one, clearly Quinshawn Judkins. Dude is a beast, and I do think Harold Fanning is going to be the goods. So
I think he's fine. Like I think he's like,
but outside of that, I want
one of those mid-ass tight ends that you can rely on, but never sets the world on fire. I'm not saying Dylan Gabriel is going to be the starter for a long time. I'm saying if you can get him for cheap, and you got some QB issues, I don't hate it. But no,
I finally got their schedule pulled up.
They're going to draft a quarterback, Randy. 100%.
Oh yeah. Well,
and
I mean,
they'll give Shedeur a shot probably, even though I think he's been good enough to keep the job for now. But it takes one game.
I would give him week 13 at home against the 49ers. The 49ers defense is so banged up and so neutered by the injuries they faced, from Bosa to Warner and everybody, and like the rookie they drafted out of Georgia. I think week 13, I think coming out of Thanksgiving, they'll want to see what Shedeur brings. But we actually talked way more on this game than we needed to.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm going to hit you with a surprise that you probably weren't expecting. I've got Saints Carolina, and I'm buying Tyler Shuck. He looks like he's going to get year two. And unlike other fantasy football podcasts, right? Jerry and I have never pretended like we're scouts. Like we in so many fantasy football and dynasty content providers pretend like they do. And what they're really doing when they're telling you when they're grinding the film, what they're doing is they're watching shitty YouTube cut-ups with even shittier rap music behind them. But I digress. So one of my favorite podcasters, John Middlecoff, he was talking about Shuck on his podcast, and he was like, his sources in the league say that the Saints really like him and that they think this kid could play. Now, mind you, it's only been a couple of starts, and it's the Carolina Panthers. But this is the kind of guy that I'm looking to get thrown into deals. The way that I would want to go about it is being neutered right now. Like I would love to go out and give a contender that maybe has Tyler Shuck on the back end of their roster. I'd love to give him Joe Flacco or Mac Jones because this kid's getting it done.
Ooh,
and
I like Mac Jones, man.
I do
Mac
too.
Jones as a starter next year.
If they can, if you're Kyle Shanahan and you've seen how brittle the last 2 years speaking of people that have been hurt, if you've seen how brittle that Brock Purdy has been the last 2 years, if you're Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch and you've got Mac Jones for a $3 million or a $4 million contract, are you letting him walk? I'm not.
No.
Their careers, their livelihoods is tied to winning. And while Brock Purdy is in a vacuum when both are 100% is a better player, that's why. If I could give Mac Jones, if someone thinks he could get freed or traded, maybe. But I'm 100% going to give this guy a chance. And again, the more that he plays and plays well, and I want to continue to dive more into his relationship with Kellen Moore. I want to know what that looks like, because if he can run this office and be serviceable, he was a second-round QB, and that's kind of what I'm hoping to get. I'm hoping for the potential upside of like prime Andy Dalton or prime Derek Carr is like a 2-3 year bridge guy, because I believe the NFL quarterback position is going to change. I think teams like, if you were to hit the GM and owner of Miami and Jacksonville with True Serum, or in the Cardinals, how thrilled are you right now to be paying Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence, and Tua Tagovailoa $40 to $50 million respectively amongst those three? They're not. So a lot of quarterbacks are going to start being 2 to 4 year projects. And then I think you're going to see the ones that are really talented that landed in bad spots. You'll see more Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, but all going back to Tyler Shuck. I think he's super cheap. There's enough upside. He's got a good offensive-minded head coach in Kellen Moore. He's got Chris Olave. I think they'll continue to invest in this offense. And for what his acquisition cost is, which is probably a second, why not? If I'm a contender and I've got like a Matt Stafford and like an Aaron Rodgers maybe is helping my team, I'm not going to get a good quarterback with my 211 or 210. So if I can throw that at somebody for Tyler Shuck right now, hell yeah, I'm doing that, Jerry.
No, I'm fine with it. You have to be patient because there's a real chance that the Saints draft a quarterback and then he's not worth fiddly fart on your team for a little bit.
But do the Saints want to use like the 107 on a quarterback, not knowing whether or not they're truly getting someone better than Tyler Shuck?
Which is fair. That's what I'm saying.
When you could get like a stud.
You're sweating that situation come draft day. That's the issue.
Because here's the move, right? You draft like the best wide receiver at 107. You pair him with Chris Olave, and you see what Tyler Shuck can do. And if Tyler Shuck goes back to Tyler Suck, then you'll be in line for a top pick again in 2027. So I think he's going to get the rest of this year and next year, especially if what I'm hearing is true and if he continues to play well.
Which is fine, and I'm cool with that, and I think it helps Chris Olave.
I'm going to give you a chance to talk about a young quarterback playing actually third in the MVP betting odds right now. You got the Patriots and Drake May against Baker and the Bucks, and Baker was a big MVP favorite, and that's fallen on hard times.
Oh, Randy, let's talk about this game. For one, Drake May QB1 right now in fantasy, which is absolutely awesome. Good. Round of applause for Randall. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Great job. I was not that high on him. Bless your heart. Liked him. Didn't want to S his D like Randy did. But if we are going to talk about the New England Patriots, Travion Henderson, welcome to the show, buddy. Let's go. You have an opportunity now. Ramondre Stevenson missing another week, and everybody's about to watch you on Thursday Night Football. So if you repeat it, Randy, we are having the Travion Henderson is a top 10 guy conversation. Now, if you would have done this to start the season, people would have already said that because everybody freaks out about rookies and they always put them in the top 10. But then reality sets in the first couple of months. But if we see a repeat of what we saw last week, Mr. Randall Young, Travion Henderson deserves to be in that conversation, and it will be a surprise to pretty much nobody, except for maybe Mike Vrabel, who just decided he didn't want to play him and give him tons of touches. But dude looked great. It was awesome. Loved it.
I'm trying to find the tweet, but it was from last weekend, and I'd love to give attribution because it was absolutely hilarious. Chuck Bass from Player Profiler. We need to get him on in the offseason because he's a fellow Player Profiler content creator, just like Jerry and I. And I'm trying to find it. It says Gibson out, meaning Antonio Gibson, Ramondre Stevenson out. Was it Terrell Jennings?
Yeah.
Out. God must have Travion Henderson on his fantasy team. It's like, we're going to make sure this guy finally gets a shot, and he made the most of it. Did you see where he like kind of waved to the bench and said, "Is it okay to score?"
Oh my God! And
you know that warm Mike Vrabel's heart. That's
and also just how that's toying with a professional defense. You had the opportunity to score a touchdown, and you had enough time to look a couple times, double check what they said, and then still hit your tutty. Like, that's the athleticism for this man. Awesome. Love it. Absolutely love to see that.
Yeah, I was stoked by this, and I got news for the AFC, and primarily the Buffalo Bills. Life just got a whole lot more challenging because Vrabel's not going anywhere, May's not going anywhere. The Bills, what could have been a decade of dominance, could be gone. I've got the Ravens and the Vikings, and this will not surprise you one iota because I've not been in at all. I am 150,000% out on Drake May. You can tell me anything you want. I don't care. You can tell me I get a puppy if I like him more. I do not care. I do not think he is good at football.
Who, Drake
And
May?
Not Drake May, excuse me, JJ McCarthy.
Oh, okay.
I love JJ McCarthy. He was
You're
20.
You're freaking out right now. You
Yeah,
love Drake May. You're out on JJ McCarthy.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
Randy
He
had a
was
stroke.
he
Senior
was
moment.
20. He was 20 of 42 for the game, including the scripted play. You're sub 50%, and I know Baltimore's defense is more healthy than it was. But come on, man. Come on. What are we talking about here? And people act like the guy drafted at the 111. I again, mountain of right. I said this. I said this in the offseason. I said, if this kid does not work out, Kevin O'Connell is going to start catching heat. Quincy Adolfo-Mensah is going to start catching heat. And you know what you're hearing right now on Sports Talk Radio and what you're hearing on social media is Kevin O'Connell actually a good coach? It's not even been 10 games, and they're already asking the question. They're already I told you that the fans, the media, they would turn on these guys like jackals. It would take 0% of the time. And it's not hard, guys. And everybody's like, no, he's going to be great. Give him time. Nobody has time. It's 2025. Nobody gets time anymore. So if you can get out of JJ McCarthy for any first, do it. If you can get out of J.J. McCarthy for Brock Purdy before he comes back and plays, and I don't even care if Brock Purdy plays another snap the rest of the season. I could truly care less. Brock Purdy will do less damage to your dynasty roster not playing than J.J. McCarthy will play. I'm out on J.J. McCarthy. I was never really in, and you know what? People can argue, people can cuss, and that's fine. It creates great dialogue. The math supports me. 50% of all quarterbacks drafted in the first round bust. And we'll talk about Caleb here in a little bit, but he's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Drake May, not a bust. Drake May is an MVP candidate. Bo Nix, another Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. He does it a little bit differently. Than Caleb. Caleb, some games great, some games bad. Bo Nix, great season, bad season. Like that dude threw 28 touchdowns last year. What the hell happened? But anyway, the data says, and we've already passed the Atlanta game, that Michael Penix and J.J. McCarthy are the busts. I'm out. O-U-T. Jerry, let's do Bills Dolphins. We just talked about the Bills, and they've got real competition with the New England Patriots. But you have Bills Dolphins, and the Bills kicked them right square in the Nuggets.
Yeah, I thought first, real quick, just to circle back, I thought I was a hateful bastard towards JJ McCarthy, but Randall, take your bow, sir. I appreciate that. Bills Dolphins, what the hell happened in that game? I will tell you what happened. Devon Achane took it out and smacked him over the head with it over and over and over again. Dude's awesome. One of the most wrongs I have ever been in the valley of wrong was my trepidation towards Devon Achane, because that dude is awesome and I am an idiot and he is ruler of the world. I absolutely am not worried about the Bills at all, because you're not relying on any Bills pass catchers anyway. Like, I know Keon Coleman scored a touchdown. I don't care. Like, it's Josh Allen. It's James Cook. Nothing else. Those two guys carry the weight. As for the Dolphins, if you are a contender, Jalen Waddle's a solid wide receiver 2 to have. He's had, I think, like 5 catches and like 90 yards, like 3 of the last 4 games. Got a couple tutties. Been pretty good. Like, if you're a contender and you have like A.J. Brown, like, I'll send A.J. Brown in a second for Jalen Waddle. I don't know if that's actually something that somebody would do. Value-wise, it's probably fine. But Jalen Waddle's solid, man.
Can I hit you with where do you think, because I love doing this, because I do this not because it's fun and I like giving Jerry a hard time, which that's always going to be part of it. But I like doing it because the data changed. So since week 4, that's when Tyreek Hill got 4. So week 5 through week 10, where has Jalen Waddle ranked on the wide receiver 1 through whatever, 100? He is wide receiver what in that, what is that? That's a 6-game sample.
Let's say 11.
How about 6? He's wide receiver 6 in that time. And he is playing along the likes, and it's kind of a weird list, but I mean, he's averaging 17 points a game, which is the same as Ladd McConkey. Chris Olave is number 5 on that list. Now, mind you, some guys have had a bye, like Devontae Adams had a bye, St. Brown had a bye, so that will skew the data a little bit. I just did that to illustrate the point that this dude's been killing it.
And he doesn't get the buzz because he didn't explode immediately.
He's on a bad team, and when you're on a bad team, you don't get a lot of prime time. You're going to get him on Sunday morning. They play in Germany, and you know what? Oh, I'm sorry. They actually play in Barcelona. They just played in Germany last week. But you know what? Germany and Barcelona probably have in common.
What's that?
I've not checked, but they'd probably let you play fast draft.
I know your sad draft season is over, but just because the NFL season starts doesn't mean the drafting stops. Because Fast Draft has the Flex 6 Frenzy. You're drafting 6 guys for the Sunday slate. It's fast, it's furious, it's fun. And as with everything on Fast Draft, there are no salaries. Woo! So go to draftfaster.com, get the app, use your host promo code for a $50 deposit match. Now let's go start drafting faster.
So I'm going to keep it a buck with you in the audience, Jerry. I love Fast Draft, and I love the quick 6 game, but there is no better promo than the Podfather in the Flex 6. There are no salaries. That promo code's WarZone. Get you their deposit match up to $50. You deposit 50, you get 50. Use the promo code WarZone, all caps, all one word. Jerry, I have what was actually a pretty fun game to watch here in Indiana. Because when the Colts aren't on, you just get, regional games. For some reason, like instead of getting that Rams game, that Rams-Niners game on Sunday, I got Lions Commandos. Like, are you kidding me? But anyway, so I got the Bears-Giants. What a fun game. And we both have Jackson Dart ahead of Caleb Williams in our Dynasty rankings. But man, I even though we have him like what 10 to 12 each, I don't remember like right there. He's 10, 11, or 12 in both of our rankings. Go back and re-listen to that show. I dare you. But where do you think Jackson Dart ranks? Since he came in, he became the starter in week 4. He's not had a bye in that time, so that's again going to skew the data a little bit. But where does he rank in that time period?
QB 5.
How about QB1?
Oh,
QB1.
decent.
And because not too shabby. QB1. And dude, no Malik Neighbors. No Malik Neighbors. You never if you would have said like Monday, Memphis on Thursday's show, you're going to agree with a Skip Bayless take. I'd have told you were fucking crazy. You are fucking crazy. But Skip Bayless said this week on one of his many outlets that the Giants should hire John Gruden. And man, I could not agree more. I could not agree more. John Gruden has done, and he loves Jackson Dart. Absolutely loves Jackson Dart. And I know people are talking about like looking for the next Ben Johnson. How many first-time coaches have to fail in New York before the average fan realizes that maybe the New York market is not Robert Saleh failed with the Jets? Aaron Glenn's currently scuffling with the Jets. Brian Daboll, gone, fired mid-season. Joe Judge. The list goes on. There was the one guy that had the creepy mustache, although mustache are in vogue right now, so don't look at me for mustache and facial hair advice. I'm going to rock the beard till the wheels fall off. But, I mean, and if they can't get Gruden, can they get Mike McCarthy? There's not a Mike Vrabel in this class. There's not a Ben Johnson in this hiring class. And people can say, oh, Mike McCarthy, he looks like a fat Milwaukee cop. And you're right. He does look like a fat Milwaukee cop. But you know what? Aaron Rodgers had really good success under Mike McCarthy. And you know what? Dak Prescott had really good success under Mike McCarthy. So I would prefer Gruden. I think that would be wonderful. He's getting Malik Neighbors back. We can add to the offensive line. We can get a grown-up in the room. And Aqib Talib, who's as squirrely as they get, he was talking about he's never been in a better locker room than John Gruden. And hey, NFL, if you don't want John Gruden to continue to sue you and allow things to go to discovery that you probably don't want going to discovery, you ought to encourage the New York Football Giants to hire John Gruden. I don't know. This is just a long-winded way to say I couldn't be more bullish on Jackson Dart. Would be a little concerned if they were to hire like a first-time coach, unless it was someone with a pedigree of a Ben Johnson. But I am floored. I am floored that since he became the starter, he is the QB1 overall. But you can also filter this report I'm looking at by points per game. If you go by points per game since he's been the starter, the only people scoring more fantasy points per game at the quarterback position than Jackson Dart are Matthew Stafford and Patrick Mahomes. He's scoring more than Dak. He's scoring more than Drake May. He's scoring more than Jalen Hurts. You're known by the company you keep with a lame duck head coach without your best wide receiver. And old boys do. Oh, he just lost his running back. Bold. And by the way, I'd like to welcome the rest of the fantasy world to Theo Johnson land, a land that going back to May, Jerry and I were talking about, go get Theo Johnson, go get Theo Johnson. And now I see it on Twitter. Oh, now's a great time to go get Theo Johnson. No, now is the best time if you didn't do it in May. But he's only going to go up. He's only going to get more involved. Jerry, I am very bullish on the Giants. I said this last year. They're a buy-on team for me, and I'm going to continue to buy on the Giants. I think even Wan'Dale Robinson will be usable next year when Malik Neighbors comes back. I could say so much about the Bears, but I've only got so much time.
Which I think all is fair. The thing that bothers me about Jackson Dart, if I am going to play devil's advocate,
is it the one eye black?
No. I mean, that is weird, but it's how he plays the game. He has just no regard for his body. And he's in concussion protocol. He's going to miss this game. We're going to get Jameis Winston, which fuck yes, baby. He just plays with no regard for his body. And at some point, you are going to take a beating that is much worse than one game. And I don't love that. The Johnny Manziel style of football that this man is playing is the most entertaining
The difference is he's 6'2" and 225 pounds.
I know.
And it's just a concussion, Jerry.
For now, but this man, he doesn't slide, he doesn't run out of bounds. Like, he wants to run through a motherfucker's face, which is awesome. And I respect the hell out of it. But these people are unbelievable athletes, the absolute specimen athletic.
I will entertain this take week 3 of next year if he's still playing that way.
Fair, but also here's the other thing that makes me nervous. This is my problem with rookies that blow up. They come back to earth in year 2. And in year 2, everybody starts to hate them and their value dips. So if I love Jackson Dart and I want to go acquire him now, I am better off doing it in week 4 of next year. If I truly believe in this man and want him as my quarterback for a career, right now, too goddamn expensive. Off season, only going to build hype. Year 2, defensive coordinators get paid lots of money to try and stop offenses.
I've heard all of this about Drake May, Caleb Williams, and the guys that are succeeding. And here's what I'm looking for. What did Drake May get? He got Josh McDaniels, a really strong offensive coordinator, a complete kook.
We don't know
as a head coach.
Who he's going to get, though.
But but if you wait until he does, the price goes up.
But Brian Daboll was a really great offensive mind for Josh Allen, and Josh Allen is Josh Allen.
How was he for Russell Wilson? How was he for Daniel Jones?
I agree. I'm watching Shane Steichen
get. No.
I mean, he made Jackson Dart and Josh Allen look really good.
I'm just saying.
If they go defensive minded head coach, and it just there's a lot that can go wrong.
You mentioned Jackson Dart has a great head of hair, and that's true. The one eye black thing is an homage to Star Wars, but you have another quarterback with a great head of hair, and that's Trevor Lawrence, because the Jags played the Texans, and kids, this is what happens when you go conservative. This is why you don't go. Did the Atlanta Falcons? They walk so we could run. They walk so we could run. You don't set on a 19-point lead. You keep playing the game, which is odd considering the Jags did that to the Chargers a couple of years back in the game. But anyway, you have Texans, Jaguars.
Oh, yeah. Listen, Trevor Lawrence has a great set of hair, but if we're going to talk about Jags, brother's a Jag. I'm sorry. He has just fallen off the face of the earth, and I am a person that has put him on a pedestal from the beginning, and I have defended him from the beginning. I cannot defend Trevor Lawrence anymore. I don't know what it is, because I still think he has all the talent in the world, and sometimes he shows it. Go ahead.
I want to raise my hand so I don't always interrupt you like I'm told that I do. If Trevor Lawrence was playing like this and his name was Sam Darnold, what would the media be doing to him right now?
Obliterating.
They'd be beating him. I'll tell you why Trevor Lawrence gets a pass. Is he was dubbed generational. And if you go back and start criticizing him now, you're essentially criticizing yourself, because you and the media were the ones who called him generational. You called him can't miss. And now you would have to go back, which there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's no admitting, putting your hand up and saying, hey, I got it wrong. He's not generational. He's not even very good. I've always said this, and I'm actually I'm close but wrong. He's Jared Goff with better hair. And Jared Goff's got a nice head of hair. But anyway, back to your Trevor Lawrence take.
He wishes he was Jared Goff, for the record. But here we go. This is what I got. I got two bits from each of the running backs in the Jags and the Texans game. Travis Etienne is a touchdown-dependent running back until this offense is not crap. Because he's going to get you 55 yards, and if he adds a touchdown to it, you're happy. And if he doesn't, he's going to disappoint the hell out of you. And Woody Marks is a volume RB2. We've seen 15 touches in 3 of the last 4 games. The one game he wasn't, he got 13. So he's getting the opportunity. He's getting the crack at it. Is he setting the world on fire?
Did you call him a crack addict?
No, getting the crack
listening.
at it. I got the Michigan slang where I slur all my words together. But he's fine. He's not going to set the world on fire. He's probably, would you say he's going to get the chance to start next year? Or do you think they'll try and bring somebody in?
Let me ask you a question. If you were the Houston Texans and you were favored to win this division in a landslide, would you invest any additional picks after seeing? Now, you're going to bring in somebody. You're going to bring in like another guy.
Tyrone Tracy. I don't know if he's a free agent, but like somebody like that.
You're gonna bring in somebody, but you're gonna use a late day 3 pick and try to find a Cam Scatabo type to go with Woody Marks. Nick Chubb looks as washed as my laundry, and I've got like one of those mountainous sized baskets. My wife's like, "Where do you put your laundry away?" When everything I own's dirty, and that's what Nick Chubb looks like. He looks washed. I have no idea where Joe Mixon is. Is he in the witness relocation program?
Yeah.
I have no. Listen, you don't have to convince me to like Woody Marks, but we're going to put a little accelerant on this. There's a show up behind us. I'm going to make Cardinals Seahawks very easy. Are you ready?
Yep.
Appendicitis and appendectomy has given you a chance to buy Marvin Harrison Jr. He's not playing this week. Could miss 2 weeks with having his appendix out. But yeah, no, that's simple. It's as simple as I got. The rest of this game was pretty brutal. The Seahawks are the truth, gang. I know you don't want to admit it. Slamming Sammy Darnold. He's out there. He is, and I cannot wait to watch that game this weekend. I cannot wait to watch the Rams and the Seahawks lock it up. That is going to be such a fun game to watch. But Jerry, you have the Commies, aka the Commanders, the Commandos, and they hosted your Lions.
True. Do you think Sam Darnold is the most named person in the history of this podcast?
It would be him, Cooper Kupp, or Terry McLaurin. I tell you,
I
no
think
one,
that's fair.
no one is closer to my heart than Sam Darnold. As the Podfather always says, I don't have to take the L. I just had to wait for the correct take to come around. But anyway,
Commanders Lions. Dan Campbell is now calling the plays for the Detroit Lions, and they exploded. We saw Jameson Williams had 100 yards. We saw Sam Laporta get a couple catches in like 50 yards. We saw Jahmyr Gibbs go absolutely bananas. We saw Amon-Ra St. Brown do what Amon-Ra St. Brown does. Thank you. Dan Campbell, hopefully it's not just because the Commanders are poop, but start those Lions. Love those Lions. As for the Commanders, you ready for a little fun stat, Randall? Let me get my paper here. Treylon Burks led the Commanders in yards. That if you take all of the rushing yards that all the running backs had, you take all the receiving yards that all the receivers and pass catchers had, the person who had the most was Treylon Burks. So that tells you what the state of that team is right now. Hell no, no thank you. I'm good.
Treylon Burks, that's woof, woof. By the way, Treylon Burks finally gets another shot in the league. He's out this week with a finger. If I'm Treylon Burks and I'm getting another shot, you could cut my finger off.
Correct.
Remember, was it Ronnie Lott back in the day who cut off like his finger at the knuckle and like taped that shit together and went out and played football? It's like, I don't know. Rams Niners, I didn't. I like, as I was getting ready for the show, I was running a little bit late myself, and I just kept saying in like the drive home, Rams Niners, Rams Niners, Rams Niners. What comes to mind? I got nothing. I mean, I want to say by Ricky Pearsall, but he can't play football. Not if he's hurt. Definitely interested in Ricky P. He's a talented dude. I mean, George Kittle doing the touchdown by George Kittle was something else.
He does.
I do a little something on Devontae Adams, and I tweeted this out the other day. So did you actually see the video of how he got injured? If you haven't, Dov Klingman actually stole it from me, and I stole it from Instagram. Some guy did it. I screen recorded it, cropped out the Instagram like markings and stuff. And Dov has borrowed this, but that's fine. All the good
That's
stuff
what
is
he does.
And it's Devontae Adams doing like that little stutter step before they start their route thing, and all of a sudden he just grabs like his side. Now he's a well-built specimen of a man, and it's like where us average guys have that love handle meet. Not quite your hip, but not quite your ass, like that love handle. He reaches back and grabs it. But go check it out on my Twitter feed at DWZ
I
Memphis.
pulled that thing picking up Lacey's poop one day, so I know how that goes.
Every man over the age of 30, and several women know that when you start getting injuries like back injuries like that, like the last time I actually hurt my back was when I was trimming my toenails. Very common thing that you do all the time. And it's like, I do this all the time. I do this all the time. And he runs routes all the time. I'm telling you, be very concerned from a fantasy and a dynasty standpoint if he does not play this week. If he does not play this week in a very important divisional matchup against 2-7-2 teams, if he can't strap it up, not strap it on, that's a different thing. But if he can't strap it up and go against the Seahawks, he's really injured. And I think he's 31, 32. And I was wrong. I'm going to visit Jerry in the Valley of Wrong. I thought Devontae Adams was
already there with
was going to be cooked this year. I was wrong. He's not chopped. He's not cooked. He actually leads the league in passing receiving touchdowns.
Yeah,
so
quite the
good,
opposite.
So good for him. But if he can't go in this game, that tells you how severe that injury is. And if he was 22, 27, not a big deal for Dynasty. For 32, it's a huge deal. So that was my little nugget, my little aside. Jerry, we have 2 games left, and they're 2 of the uglier games to watch. Steelers and Chargers.
Okay, got a couple things. I know I got to be quick, so I'm going to be quick with it.
Now, you can take a couple of minutes because I have the Eagles and Packers, and it's the shits.
Okay, fair. Well, I do have 3 things. So, everybody take a breath. Oronde Gadsden is fine. Thank you, football gods, for not taking him away from me. after I literally just did a show where I said he was Dynasty 4, but he's all good. Here's the Dynasty actual advice. Trade Kamani Vidal right now. If you have to pair a third with him to get a second, just do it. Omarion Hampton is coming back, and Kamani Vidal is getting 25 rush attempts a game. So anybody that really needs a running back will absolutely take the man because of the volume that he offers. But he is 3 weeks from being absolutely useless. And he is 8 months from people even forgetting that he is on your roster at all. Pair him with a third, try to get a second. Thank you. Love it. As for the Steelers, Randy, I said earlier that we were going to talk about DK Metcalf, and guess what is happening? This man is essentially a touchdown-dependent tight end that you have to start in your wide receiver slot. He offers you nothing really of value. Aaron Rodgers is cooked. He looked like ass. DK Metcalf is touchdown dependent. Just like most tight ends are. Sell him. We have done this show for 8 years. He's been in the league however long he's been in it. I promise you, at no point have I ever uttered those words as a fanboy of DK Metcalf. The time is now. Because he is all name and all PR for whatever value that there even is with his name. Because that situation is not going to be good. And if Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback for another year, not going to get better. And if they do another one of these bridge veterans, not going to be better.
So
No,
I like your take, except it's bad. So I'm going to help you with it. I like that you say that you want to sell DK Metcalf. I concur. I think that's a solid, strong take. But what are you asking these good people to sell on? The fact that he's DK Metcalf, it's not enough. You're selling on that he's 28 years old. You're selling that he is Player Profiler's current Dynasty wide receiver 28. Okay? Michael Pittman, who also, by the way, their age almost identical. Pittman 27.9. Metcalf 27.9, Pittman 28.1. So they're both 28 years old, give or take. They're essentially the same age. Give me Michael Pittman. He's ranked ahead of Jamison Williams. I'll take Jamison Williams. Khalil Shakir, I'll go get him. What are you selling? Hey, he's had a bad couple of games against some really good secondaries. Colts secondary is pretty good. The Charger secondary. You know, you think Jim Harbaugh is going to let him do that? Go get any of those guys. Go get the all-in package on Player Profiler. Look at anybody in and around DK Metcalf on the rankings, and go get one of these guys.
I don't think DK Metcalf is ass. Like I think he's a good wide receiver. It's just that situation. And listen, I wanted Arthur Smith to be a good offensive coordinator because we saw it previously, even though his head coaching situation was a disaster and blah, 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 blah. It's bad. It's bad. The running game there is bad. The passing game is bad. Aaron Rodgers is bad. And it makes DK Metcalf 100% touchdown dependent. Now, early in the season, he was getting those touchdowns, so it masked all of that. He has not gotten that recently, and you're seeing it just based on the volume. And the volume is like 3 catches for 46 yards. And one of those is probably a 37-yarder that looks really cool because he's DK Metcalf. And the rest of it, it's just not a well-oiled offense. So I am good. Thank you. Sayonara.
You know what else was bad? That Packers-Eagles game. Oh, yeah, my God. It looked like you took a turd, wrapped it in hair, set that on fire, threw it in a stinky dumpster in the middle of a humid August afternoon, and had to sit in there and smell it. That's what that game was. I can't paint a more visual for you than that. But the best I got from a Dynasty Nugget, especially if you're contending with all of the injuries across the team, Michael Golden banged up, and Christian Watson, he's not hurt now, but if you set your watch for 30 minutes and check Twitter X, he could be. And Tucker Kraft's out for the rest of the year. But you know who was practicing today on a limited basis on the sidelines? Jaden Reed. You know who's 25 years old Jaden Reed.
You know,
And
who's
from
been
a
the best wide receiver on that team
when
for the last couple of
healthy,
years?
100% Jaden Reed. So, you again, this is what this show is founded on. It's what Jerry and I pride ourselves on. You're not seeing a lot of talk out there in the dynasty space about Jaden Reed. We're not telling you that you're going to inherit the next Jackson Smith and Jigba or Jamar Chase, but you are looking at a guy for whatever you think about the way the Packers are currently playing. They're a team trying to get in the playoffs, and that's an offense that needs some juice. I see, by the way, and I want to give a shout out to a couple of people in the YouTube chat, especially Jay, JP Tay. I'm just going to go with Jay. We're going to keep it Jay. A shout out to my boy Cameron. He's accusing Jerry of being involved in the Michigan State cheating scandal. Jerry said they're vacating wins. I think it would be better if they got to vacate all the losses. That would keep the accounting people.
More of those.
There's a lot more of those. It'll keep the accountants busy. Jay, we'll talk more about the Antonio Brown. kind of reminiscent of Antonio Brown. AJ Brown. By the way, Antonio Brown, you got to do some dumb shit to get extradited from Dubai. You know, but luckily for him, he's not in a Dubai prison as opposed to what goes on here in the States. I mean, if I could pick a United States penal system to be in versus a Dubai penal system, I'm probably going to choose the good old US of A. But yeah, no, AJ Brown, we'll talk about him next week in the trades. Jerry, we're getting ready to get out of here, but what are your thoughts as a guy who graduated speaking of Michigan State, you graduated with Jaden Reed right next to him, Reed to Sinclair. What do you think about that take? Can we get ahead of buying Jaden Reed? Like, he's probably a throw-in a trade. Maybe you can get him for a couple of thirds. If you're a contender, I don't mind giving my 211.
I think he's worth more than that. I think he's worth some seconds.
Oh, I don't. He's
wide receiver 2 seconds?
Sir, again, don't be a tool, use one. Use Player Profiler's Dynasty rankings. He is currently listed as wide receiver 38. Wide receiver 38. If you're giving more than
some thirds.
Okay, but can I give you?
I'm sending you a middle finger emoji if you want.
Okay.
Thirds. But yes, I'm absolutely trying to acquire Jaden Reed because he's the only wide receiver that's worth a damn on that team. I know they took Matthew Golden in the first, but
you're a contender.
Gracious.
You're a contender, and you're going to finish somewhere between 209 and 212. Do you want that random pick? That's almost a third, and this is correct me if I'm misquoting you. You wouldn't bend over and pick up a third if it fell out of your pocket.
Correct.
So would you rather have between the 21st and 24th best unproven rookie in this draft, or Jaden Reed, who's going to be in this offense? And again, I'm not promising JSN numbers, but I'm promising a guy that when healthy can play well. He knows the quarterback. He knows the offense. And I do think that next year, I would love to just see, this is another example of the New York Giants thing. I would love to see an example of the quarterback and all of the skill guys for half an hour all stay healthy. Can we just see everybody together? Can we see what
yeah, right.
It's like that mom when you're getting family pictures taken, she's screaming and yelling at you Jerry, shut the fuck up, sit down and smile, goddamn it. And then she posts that picture on social media and she goes, my world. You don't know what you don't know what's going on behind the scenes of that picture. And that's what I want. I want to see the entire band together with the Packers. Jerry,
you're not gonna.
It's going to be tough. But I'm long story short, I'm going to offer a third. If that doesn't work, I'm going to offer 2 thirds. If that doesn't work, I'm
2 seconds.
I'm going to offer a second and then a second and a third. That's the tippy top of this mountain. But Jerry, we got to get out of here. We've already infringed 8 minutes on the show behind us, but I think this was a good one. This is always a fun version of shows. Next week, we're going to do trades, a lot of leagues, bad leagues. I feel like Donald Trump. A lot of leagues, bad leagues. Bad leagues have trade deadlines. Trade deadlines bad, super bad right now. Good leagues don't have trade deadlines, but if you have a trade deadline, we're going to do a trade deadline special for you guys next week, leading up to Thanksgiving. I don't know what we're going to do the week of Thanksgiving. I may have to do a solo show. We're not recording on Thanksgiving. it's family time, but there will be a Dynasty WarZone that week by hook or by crook, Jerry.
Listen, I'll be watching the Lions game, but Nicole's got an ICU rotation. I'm gonna be sitting here by myself. Maybe we can do a little fucking Thanksgiving.
Look, if you think I'm not trying to escape my family, not so fast. By that point in the evening, you kidding me? Vinny will be out hanging out with his friends. My wife will be, asleep. We can do a pod. We'll just do a live stream right in the middle of the game. I don't even know who the night game is. By the way, this was fun. I forget it was a producer and Eminem are in charge of
Paul Rosenberg. Yeah,
Paul Rosenberg and Eminem are in charge of the halftime show for the Detroit Thanksgiving game. I'm thinking Eminem. Can we get Eminem, one of the best rappers of all time? You think he's available? I think if you're bucking it, I think we can probably at least maybe get because that's the move, right? And by the way, guys, the fantasy content's over, and if we're running into someone else's show, we're super sorry. But it's like if you're in Eminem and you're looking to put like a young up and coming rapper over, wouldn't you do like a collab with him right there? And it's like, hey, Eminem's the halftime, and then you bring out Sparky McGillicuddy, as that wouldn't be a stage. Old Sparky, that wouldn't be a stage name, but you'd roll old Sparky out there. But again, we got to get out of here. And again, big thank you to Jay, Jamie, Cam, everybody, Julian, everybody in the chat. Thank you so much. It's always nerve rattling when you switch feeds and you switch feeds in season, and Player Profiler Now Plus doesn't have as many subscribers as the main channel, but you guys are friggin' awesome. I appreciate it. Jerry appreciates it. We'll be back next week talking Dynasty trades, getting you that need our help ready for the trade deadline. So if you're listening to this, set a reminder, set an alert, set an alarm, and show up, because you can ask questions during that show. You might say, hey, I need to make a Dynasty trade. Hey, I'm contending. Hey, I'm losing. Hey, I need your help. What do you think about this trade? Cool. Be here next Thursday. We'll answer those questions, as many as we can, as time will allow, because we'll have takes of our own. And Jerry, anything to add?
No.
Dynamite drop in, Jerry. We'll see you guys next week.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.